Welcome back to the channel, Pete's Carport, guys. And today we have the other SC300 that a lot of you guys have been asking about back on the channel. I just moved this one over here, so let me go ahead and turn this one off and we'll head back over there. So obviously this is the W58 manual trans SC300. This one's a 96, the one that we're doing the body kit on. And today, Xavier had to get his car towed up here. His alternator's no longer working. This is the one that I had on the channel originally. It was red. We plasti dipped it white. Not holding up the best, but it's definitely still looking pretty good. And of course, he just threw these rims on here, which are absolutely amazing. What kind of rims are these and what size?
Spec 1, 20 by 10s in the rear.
Spec 1, 20 by 10s rear.
20 by 9 in the front.
20 by 9 in the front, and they look absolutely amazing on this car. Many of you guys know we went ahead and put the Max Peating Rod, some people call them eBay coilovers, on here, and a lot of you guys ask about how those are holding up. You guys want updates on them. Xavier, what do you think?
Smooth as eggs.
That's what I said. I took his car around the block a couple months back, and honestly, I think it drives better than the stock suspension. Can't give you a comparison of, you know, like something really expensive like some Fortunato or even some BC, but I can tell you it rode better than the stock that were on here that were probably 20 plus years old. So but today what we're gonna do is swap out the alternator. So if you guys need to swap your alternator out, stay tuned on this video. It's not gonna be a how-to, but we'll show you guys how it comes out. So we're just gonna go ahead and start taking this off. I already went ahead and loosened the bolt that's right on top here. He's playing around with seeing if we can just wedge the tensioner so we can pull the belt off without having to undo that, because this is gonna be a pretty easy job, even though some people out there take everything out of here. What we're gonna do next, I'm gonna jack the car up, and there's another bolt underneath it, because here's the new alternator, just to give you guys an idea of how it's in there. It looks like it's in there just like that there, so there's going to be another bolt, as you see down there, holding the alternator into place. Some alternators will have a tensioner on them, which is nice, because then you can basically pull the alternator back, pull the belt off, slide the new one in, and then pull it and tighten it. This one's got a tensioner, so we're going to see what we have to do, but I'm going to keep filling you guys in. I think so I went ahead and used this 9/16 ratchet open end wrench. You probably 14 millimeter, or yeah, 14, because I just tried to do the 13. I can't find my 14 millimeter in this, but this seemed to work. It was tight enough on there. And so I'm going to use that, and we're going to go ahead and get car jacked up like I said, and probably the other bolt's going to be the exact same size. So let's get this jacked up and see how easy it is to access that bolt from underneath. So ironically, I had an older alternator sitting around, so I can kind of compare and make sure the one that Xavier's girlfriend ordered is the correct one. And it looks like it is. It's just got a little bit of a different opening here as compared to a closed one here. So I think that's going to be fine. So this is your top here. You've got your 14 millimeter bolt here, and you can't really access it with a socket wrench unless you've got a really, really thin one. So I use the open end ratchet wrench to get this off. And underneath here is just a nut on a post, it looks like, which obviously it looks like the post gets slid onto, and you tighten up the nut, and it's a 14 millimeter, and you've got some wires and some other things that are hanging from here. You just slide those off. Let me get underneath the car, because it's really easy to access. And there is the bolt right there that I dropped down, or the nut, I mean, that comes off. And alternator is right there. And you can access this one. Let me see if you can see with a socket wrench. You see right there. So I took it off. I'm going to slide that. It's just a kind of a holder for these wires and pipes and everything that are coming through here, and that's going to allow us to pull the alternator out. Either probably from the top is going to be the easiest. So just wanted to fill you guys in on that. I'm going to go ahead now and finish doing the bolt that's up top, and then we're going to work on the tensioner, and I'll fill you guys in on how we pull it out. Alright, it's out. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna get up there and I'll grab it.
Alright, you gotta do that one clip right there.
Yeah, we're gonna probably have to undo some wires. It's a tight little squeeze, but it's doable. Alright. She's up here. We just gotta undo this wire plug and we'll get her out. I'll show you guys what plug that is here. Need to do to get to it. All right, looks like there's a little bolt on the side of it, so I probably should have done that while it's down in there. There's a wire on the back side. What we just did was we basically put a bar down in the tensioner, opened up the tensioner, pulled the belt off, and undid this top bolt as much as we could, because it'll stay in there. And the bottom one, you undo that nut, and then once you get your belt off, you just kind of push it forward and the whole thing will wiggle loose. There's a post down there that the bolt goes to. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this off, and I'll tell you guys what size bolt or size nut that is to get that little wire thing off, and we'll move from there and get it in. All right, guys, so this is a 12 millimeter nut on the end of this. And it's off, and we lost our nut. Hopefully we can find that. Well, we can pull our alternator out. A plug that we can release. Let me see how that releases. Man, that is beat up. Oh yeah, that is pretty brittle, and it broke. Let me get a flat head and see if we can pry that off real quick. Man, well, it's a little worn out. Maybe we have another one of these in the shed, but it looks like it still will work as long as we get it in there. This looks a little deteriorated too, so we're gonna have to clean that. Hopefully that wasn't causing this nut to work if it happened to get wet, but we're gonna replace the whole alternator. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that with some electrical cleaner. All right, guys, so quick change of plans. This is the one that I had over there because, as you guys may know, I had bought a second 2JZ motor. It's an NAT, and in the box of stuff that the guy sent to me with the motor, I had this alternator, and it looks like it's a really good alternator, and the bonus is it's got the plug that was snapped on this one, and I think that the reason why this one didn't work is it had failed at the plug. If you look at the plug, it was covered in corrosion. So we're gonna take a little risk and use this used one. It wasn't that hard of a job to do, and probably took us maybe an hour. It was more trying to figure it out from the beginning. Now that we know how to do it, this thing is just gonna drop down in, it's gonna slide over that post. And oh, the reason why we're doing this is we think this one's not the right one, because if you look here, it's got this open here, and then it's got a threaded thing here. Well, that's not going to work because currently the post goes this direction, and it's got the threads on the very end of it. So what I'm thinking is this is designed for a reverse side, so post going, not necessarily a post, but an actual bolt that's going to go this way and hold the whole thing in. Let me know in the comments if you guys have seen this alternator here. Maybe it's from a Supra, and we just happened to order it for this car by mistake. But we're going to go with the used one. We know it's the exact same alternator, same stamp on the back of it. So this might be both original. But we're going to take a small risk because we know if we have to, we can pull it back out and put it back in. Stay tuned. We're going to pop this back in there now. In here. This ain't a pitch. So we're gonna get it in.
Get in your home.
Yeah, this is not. There we go. You gotta be kidding. I just wanted to get the glove off because I couldn't get any grip on that.
Well, at least went right down there where it needed to be.
Probably. You gotta be.
Yeah. It wants to go home.
Yeah. And there is the top part that I need to bolt to. You know what? I can just do it right there. There we go. And once again, guys, that is a 12 millimeter. I just dropped it again. All right, we got two of them down here, so one of them will be good. I got it. All right. Fun, fun, fun. I think I'm gonna go grab a socket wrench with an extension to tighten that up while it's in that position. seems to go forever here. And it's tied. And this wire down here, guys, remember I told you we ended up just leaving the one that's on the alternator, the one that we're doing, and we're gonna basically now be able to rewire it up top. So I'm just gonna get that in there now. I think I gotta do it from the top, I'm not sure, but let me see if I can go from underneath, maybe wiggle it. Okay guys, quick fill in. I got everything down below. Wear mask. My eyes are killing me right now. I had so much dust flying them. And what we did is we made sure the belt was around that section of it. And you can see here, this is gonna come up here. So in order to get it up over this one, all we've got to do is loosen up the tensioner by prying it, pulling the belt up and over, and then we'll have to tighten up our nut there. And the last thing we got to do, which you won't have to do, is wire that plug, because we're putting that new plug on. All right guys, let's go ahead, and I'm going to do that now, and I'll fill you back in once we get that belt back on there. So the alternator's all tucked in there, and unfortunately we ran into a couple more issues. So the plug that I had with this spare alternator, the wires are, we'll show you guys on the bench over here, they basically extended the wires and they used the same color all the way down. So we got to take it apart in order to rewire this, and we decided, you know what, let's just go ahead and use the original plug that's on here, and look what happened when we went to plug it in. So now we have to swap out this plug completely. Won't be a big deal. Over here on the bench we've got the new plug that we're going to be using, and you can see that they had the same thing. They basically wired it so it was longer, but all these wires are black, so now we got to just figure out what wires what, and then we can actually rewire everything. Stay tuned. She should be started up very soon and back on the road. All right guys, we got everything hooked up. He's got it started up now, and what a hell of a time we had. Now we had to rewire the plug back on, and ironically the wires didn't match up from the alternator we dropped in compared to the old plug. So we had to look up diagrams, and finally I think we got it. There's no longer a battery light on his dash, so I think we're good. And he's got to ultimately rewire it properly, because we use butt connectors just to get it together. But I wanted to show you guys, these are the lights that I put on a while back. Absolutely love them. They were something I found on eBay, and then they kind of disappeared for a while, and I've heard so many people trying to find these lights and couldn't find them. And now I don't think you're gonna be able to get them, because they are made in China, obviously. And the issue now is gonna be how many months, years are we gonna start seeing heavily products that come out of there. So he also went ahead and put these rims on like we talked about earlier. Give it a little bit of a rev. Give the car a little rev. And you'll hear there, basically what we've got is, I replaced this with an OBX header. We've got the OBX mid pipe, so no cats. Coming back there to just the resonators. And then it actually ends, we have no muffler. So it's only the stock resonators. I'm gonna step back here, give it another rev. And I think it sounds amazing. This car is actually one of the faster ones that I've driven as far as SC, so it's a very healthy engine, and he's taking well care of it. So I'm excited that we're gonna probably do some more stuff on this. That, like I said, the plasti dip is holding up, but it's not the best thing we've ever done. It was ultimately just a fun project we planned, and the red underneath it kind of is an eyesore. So we might end up redoing the plasti dip, repainting it, or wrapping it. So that'll be coming later on the channel. You guys have an awesome day. I'm glad to bring you more SC300 content with a different car than the one that we've been working on day in, day out. So you guys have an awesome day, a blessed week, and I'll see you guys next time.